My best friend saw my fiancée with her ex. Then I found texts between the two, badmouthing me and her calling him her backup plan. Now she is begging me not to cancel the wedding because nothing physical happened. But it's too late. I've had a rough week. I called off my wedding, and honestly, I'm still trying to process everything. Heather, my fiancée, and turned out to be someone I didn't know at all. I'm putting this here because I need to vent, and maybe some outside perspective wouldn't hurt. Heather and I were together for 5 years. We met through mutual friends, and over time, we ended up becoming part of the same friend group. She was smart, funny, and ambitious. We moved in together after 2 years and got engaged about a year ago. Everything seemed great. Planning the wedding had been stressful, but I figured that was normal. Heather seemed more distant lately, but I chalked it up to nerves. I ignored little things, like how she suddenly started keeping her phone on her all the time, or how she'd snap at me when I asked what was wrong. It all started when my best friend, Tyler, called me out of the blue one night. Tyler said, "Bro, I think Heather's cheating on you." I laughed because cheating wasn't something I thought Heather was capable of. I told him, "There's no way. She's probably out with a coworker or something." Tyler replied, "I don't think so. I saw her at the Ivy with some guy. They were all over each other." I asked him, "What do you mean?" Tyler explained that he saw her leaning close to some guy across the table, laughing and touching her hair. He even took a photo from his seat across the bar. When he sent it to me, I felt like someone had kicked me in the stomach. It was Heather, no question about it, but the picture wasn't damning. It just showed her sitting with a guy, and nothing suspicious was clearly visible. It could have been dismissed as a bad angle or a friendly outing. I knew Heather could spin this and make people believe her side if I confronted her without solid evidence. So, I decided to wait and gather more information. I needed something she couldn't talk her way out of. Over the next week, I started paying attention. Heather had been working late a lot recently, but her work schedule didn't add up. Her gym sessions also started happening at weird hours, and her phone never left her side. One night, when she fell asleep, I went through her messages. That's when I found out about Ryan. He was her ex from college, and apparently, they'd been catching up for months. The text started harmlessly enough, but as I scrolled, it got worse. She told him she missed him, that she wasn't sure she was ready to get married, and that she wanted to keep her options open. She referred to him as her backup plan. He also badmouthed me in their messages, calling me boring and too controlling. Heather didn't defend me. She just laughed it off and kept the conversation going. When Heather got home the next night, I sat her down and said, "We need to talk." She looked nervous right away and asked, "What's wrong?" I told her, "I know about Ryan. I know you've been meeting up with him, and I know you've been keeping him as a backup." She tried to deny it and said, "It's not what you think. We're just friends." I told her, friends don't text each other about being backup plans. How long has this been going on? She started crying and admitted, it was emotional cheating, but nothing physical happened. I swear I never crossed that line. I asked her, "Do you really think that makes it better? You've been lying to me for months and making plans with your ex while we're supposed to be building a life together." She started sobbing and begged me not to call off the wedding. She said, "Please, I'll block him. I'll delete everything. I'll go to therapy if that's what it takes. Just don't cancel the wedding. I love you, not him." I told her, if you really loved me, you wouldn't have needed a backup plan in the first place. The next morning, I called my parents and told them everything. They were devastated but supportive. My mom cried and said, "You don't deserve this." My dad just looked furious. I also called Heather's parents to let them know the wedding was off. Her mom was mortified and begged me to reconsider, saying Heather had just made a mistake. Her dad, on the other hand, sided with me. The real drama started when I asked Heather for the engagement ring back. It's a family heirloom, passed down from my grandmother. At first, she refused. She said, "You gave it to me. It's mine now." I told her, "It's not yours if we're not getting married. Give it back, or I'll have to take legal action." Only then did she hand it over, throwing it at me before storming out. Relevant comment. Why was Ryan okay with being a backup plan? OP, yeah, that's exactly what made me sure it wasn't just emotional. They were kind of jokey about it in their messages, and it felt like they'd already talked it over and Ryan agreed to it. I didn't get all the context, but it gave me the impression that maybe when they reconnected, she floated the idea, and he was fine with it. Honestly, I don't think he would have gone along with it unless he was getting something in return. She also told me before how manipulative and toxic Ryan was. It wouldn't surprise me if he told her, "I'll always be here for you if OP ever screws up," or something like that to get what he wants. Update. It's been 6 months since I called off the wedding, and honestly, I think it was the best decision I've ever made. Heather tried to reach out a few times afterward, but I ignored her. Last I heard, she and Ryan tried dating, but it didn't work out. Apparently, even he didn't want to stick around once the wedding was off. As for me, I'm still picking up the pieces. It's hard, but I know I made the right call. Thank you everyone who commented, it truly helped.